Welcome back, everyone. In this video, I will be talking about what you can expect for the month of September. I am citrinechaka, also known as Astrology or D, depending on which circle you have met me in. So we are going to get started with the week of August 29th through September 4th. So on the 2nd of September, we have Mars in opposition to Neptune. So Mars is the planet of action, and Neptune is the dreamy planet. And when they are in an opposition, you will find that you might not have a lot of energy because Mars wants to go, and do, and, be very active. And Neptune just wants to sit around and dream. So there's going to be a bit of a tug of war. Mars is going to want to do a lot of things, and Neptune just wants to sit around and dream. Of course, these are general terms, so don't take everything so literal and so serious. There's always room for movement and room for change. So on the 2nd, that is the energy that you can expect. When Mars is in an opposition to Neptune, you might find that you will have no energy, your thoughts will take over, the activities that you want to participate in. So that will be the energy of Mars-Neptune opposition. And then on the 4th, we have Mercury in a trine to Saturn. This is going to be a great day for concentrating and getting things done. Okay, so that's overall what we can all expect the week of August 29th through September 4th. So let's move on to the next week. So we're moving on. We're looking at the week of September 5th through the 11th. So let's back up. On the 6th, we have the new moon in Virgo on September 6th. And then on the 10th, we have Venus moving into Scorpio. So to back up to September 5th, we have a Venus-Pluto square. This is an energy where you will see changes occurring in your relationship. Okay? Because Venus is in Libra at that point and Pluto is in Capricorn. So you will see changes occurring in your relationship. Now, on the 6th, we have Mars and Pluto in a trine. And this is an energy of positive changes. Okay, Pluto is the planet that deals with transformation. Mars is the planet that deals with action. So you will see positive movement towards transformation that you've been wanting to bring about in your life on the 6th. Now, we also have Venus in a trine to Jupiter on the same date. This is an energy where if you've been thinking about booking a vacation or if you've been thinking about investing, this is a great time because remember, Venus is the planet that rules investments. And everything that I'm saying, even the dates, don't take the dates very literally because there's always a sort of like a range. Because if you are very sensitive to energies, you might feel the energies of these planetary movements before the actual date. Okay, so that's Venus in a trine to Jupiter. Also on the 6th, we have the Sun in a trine to Uranus. This is going to be a great time for everyone to be involved in new activities. Okay, and this is also a time where the real you will show through. Because remember, Uranus is the planet that deals with surprise. Uranus is the planet that doesn't want to do everything the way it's always been done. So if there's a part of you that has been wanting to do something different, around September 6th, this is a great time for you to do that. So let's move on to the next week. We're moving on to the week of September 12th through the 18th. So on the 14th, we have Mars moving into Libra. And also on the 14th, we have the Sun in an opposition to Neptune. This, for a lot of people, is going to be a very humbling day. Okay, you may realize something about a person or a situation that humbles you. Okay, so you might have someone maybe who you work with, and you've always thought that, they feel like they are, rich, or they are above the petty, um, just the petty things in life. And you might see a different side of that person that humbles you. It makes you feel like, wow, I didn't even know that person was going through that, and they're still walking around with their head held high. So something like that you might experience around the 14th. Now, on the 16th, we have the sun in a trine to Pluto. And this is a day where you might notice a lot of synchronicities happening. This is a day where your attractor factor is going to be on 10. So you will find that you will be attracting a lot of things to you around the 16th. Now, on the 17th, we have a square. We have Venus in a square to Saturn. And this is an energy where you might feel like there's a disconnect in the way that you are relating to others. So just keep that in mind as you go throughout the month. Now let's go on to September 19th. Okay, so the week of September 19th, we do have the full moon in Pisces on the 20th. And then on the 22nd, we have the sun moving into Libra. Okay, so on the 20th, we have Mercury in a trine to Jupiter. This is a great day for making expansions, okay? Or it's a great day for making plans to expand something. It's not really a great day for implementing the plans, because with Jupiter in the picture, you are looking at the bigger picture versus the small details. Mercury is great with small details, but Jupiter, not so much. So when they're in a trine, they're really working together. Jupiter is helping Mercury to expand. Mercury is helping Jupiter to bring about the abundance that we want to see. Now, on the 23rd, we have Venus in an opposition to Uranus. And this is a day where you might have unexpected difficulties in love or finances, or there could be some unresolved issue that surfaces, and you might feel like you need to take care of that now. Okay, now moving on to the 25th of September, we have Mars in a trine to Saturn. This is a good day to do things you've been procrastinating with. Okay, around the 25th. Now let's move on to the week of the 26th. So for the week of September 26th through October 2nd, we have Mercury going retrograde on the 27th. Okay, Mercury will be retrograde on the 27th. And on the 29th, we have Venus in a trine to Neptune. This is a good day for planning and dealing with the public around this time. Now, also on that day, we have the sun in a trine to Saturn. And this is an energy where it is a great day for being organized and disciplined when you have the sun in a trine to Saturn. Moving on to the 30th, we have Venus and Jupiter in a square. This is an energy where it is a good day to do what you enjoy, but you might find yourself going into excess around that time. Okay. But one good thing is that since this is a square, you will kind of reel it in when you feel yourself overindulging to the point of excess. And now also on the 30th, we have one minute. Sorry about that. Also on the 30th, we have Venus in a Venus in a sextile to Pluto. This is a day that will help you to deepen your emotions. and your connections with others will be what you want it to be, basically. Okay, so now we're going to get into the individual zodiac signs. So let's go back to the beginning, August 29th. So now we are looking at Aries rising. Now, these individual zodiac forecasts that I'm giving you, these are for rising signs. Now, if you don't know your rising sign, you can also use this as your sun sign forecast as well. Also, check out the zodiac message or the zodiac forecast for your moon sign. So basically, you can look at these individual zodiac forecasts, look at your rising sign, moon sign, and your sun sign. And if you don't know your sun sign, look at these for your moon sign and your sun sign. All right, so this is for Aries rising. So Aries rising, the week of August 29th through, 1 minute, I have to write down the time stamp. Oh, just when you want a pen. And I always have pens everywhere. 1 minute. I always have pens around. Okay, so this is the beginning of Aries rising. All right, so Aries rising, the week of August 29th through September 4th. For you, this Mars-Neptune opposition is happening between your 6th and your 12th houses. And you can see on the screen, the 6th house is Virgo for you, and the 12th house is Pisces. So Mars is going to be in Virgo, and then Neptune is in Pisces in your 12th house. So for you on a daily basis, you won't have any energy to devote to hiding anything or to doing anything behind the scenes. Like, you will have the attitude that if I have to hide something, I'm just not going to participate in it. If I have to hide something from you, or if I have to hide something from this organization, I don't want to participate in it. So for Aries rising, this Mars-Neptune opposition is just going to bring to the forefront the fact that you don't have time to hide anything right now. Okay? And because Aries is all about doing what you want to do, if someone doesn't like it, they have to deal with it, not you. Okay? So that's how you're going to feel around the 2nd with that Mars-Neptune opposition in your 6th and your 12th houses. Also, some of you will need to make changes to your health regimen, and you will feel like you don't have the energy to make any changes. So just watch out for that. Now, on the 4th, this is for Aries rising. This is what Aries rising can expect for the month of September. And right now, we're on the week of August 29th. So Aries rising on September 4th, this is how the Mercury-Saturn trine will be affecting you. Mercury is in Libra, Saturn is in Aquarius. So it's affecting you in your 7th and your 11th houses. Okay, so for Aries rising, with this trine, you will feel sort of like in ease between your partnerships and your friendships. You will feel like everyone is getting along, basically. Okay, and you will feel like your partners are working with you and your friends are working with you. And you're also going to feel like this is a great time for you to network. Okay, when you have that type of trine happening, affecting your 11th house, it is a great time for you to do some networking. That is for Aries rising for the week of August 29th. Now let's move on to the week of September 5th. So for the week of September 5th, you have a Venus-Pluto square. Okay, and for you, this is happening in your 7th and 10th houses. So there's going to be changes that happen related to your partnerships and your career, or between your partnerships and your public image. Okay, there's going to be changes that happen, and it could be something like maybe you have a different position at work, and you might feel like it's affecting your relationship, your personal relationships. Okay, even if you're single, you might feel like, wow, with this new job that I have, I really don't have time to get out there and date. Okay, so a lot of you Aries risings around September 5th are going to feel either a strain on your relationships, or a strain on your career. It could feel like maybe you are in a newly formed relationship and your career is really demanding of you. So you might have to make a choice between backing away a little bit from your career, not spending as much time at work, or you might have to explain to your partner, hey, I just took on this extra duty at work, or I just got this promotion, and it requires me to spend more time at work, or more time devoted to work. So something like that could come up for a lot of you Aries rising with the Venus Pluto square. Now, one good thing is that you have, look at all of the trines. You have the Mars Pluto trine, you have the Venus Jupiter trine, and the Sun Uranus trine on the 6th. So whatever changes you feel occurring, they should be positive changes, and they should bring you a sense of ease around September 5th. Okay, and you could also be exposed to something new with that Sun Uranus trine. There could be something that you do on a daily basis, or it could be actually some of you will be um, making money doing something new, something that you really haven't tried your hands out at it before. Okay, because it's affecting your 6th and your 2nd houses. That Sun Uranus trine, it's affecting your 6th and your 2nd houses. So you could find yourself doing something new on a daily basis. Okay, so look out for that. It looks like some of you will be taking on a new business, or a new position in the company you work for, something like that you have to look forward to. And it's something where you feel like you can be yourself with it. So that's going to be really great for you. Now let's move on to the week of September 12th. The week of September 12th, the Sun Neptune opposition, something is going to humble you. It might be something that you discover when you're at home by yourself, and it might actually humble you because it's affecting your 6th and your 12th houses. Now, for a lot of you, it will be a health matter. So there could be something that happens related to your health, and it humbles you. Maybe you'll go to the doctor, and you might feel like, oh, something is definitely wrong with me, and the doctor will let you know, hey, you're in good health, and it will actually humble you. So you could expect something like that. Now, on the 16th, with the Sun Pluto trine, you're going to be attracting a lot of things that you want in your career around the 16th. So just know that the planets are working in your favor related to your career around the 16th. And that is for Aries rising. Now, with the, let's see, 17th Venus Saturn square, you might feel like there is a disconnect. Like you might find yourself trying to explain something about finances to your friends, and there just could be a disconnect. Like you might feel like, hey, I want to save money, and they might feel like, hey, just spend your money now while you can. or it could be a case where they could be trying to give you advice related to finances and you just don't want to hear it. So something like that could be happening for a lot of Aries rising around the 17th. There's just going to be a square. It's like just a disconnect. I know we've all had moments where we're talking to a friend and they just don't get what you're saying, or you just don't get what they're saying. Something like that is going to happen, and it looks like it's related to either your transformation, your finances, or some type of networking. Okay, so let's move on and see what Aries rising can expect for the week of September 19th through the 25th. So for you this week, the biggies are going to be relationships, friendships, and networking for Aries rising. Okay, so you might find yourself really focusing on expanding your network. Aries rising. This is a great week for you to expand your network. This is a great week for you to put together some type of networking event, because with Mercury, Jupiter trine, and with Mars, Saturn trine, they will both be in your 7th and 11th house, because at this point in the month, Mercury is in Libra and Mars is in Libra. So this is going to be a great time for you to expand and to stop procrastinating. So if you've been thinking about, hey, I need to put something together to bring some people together to network, this is a perfect time for Aries rising to do that. And this is also a perfect time for you to ask someone out. Those of you who are single, this is the perfect time for you to ask someone out on a date. Now, let's see. Let's move on to the week of September 26th through October 2nd. Now, this is for Aries rising. So this week for you, this is a great week for if you've been thinking about applying for a loan. This is a great week for you to apply for that loan, because we have Venus in Scorpio, and that is in your 8th house. Okay, Venus in Scorpio is in your 8th house. And we also have, of course, we have Saturn is in Aquarius in your 11th house. So this is a great time for you to get all of your legal documents together and pitch an idea to an investor or apply for a loan. Even if it's an increase on your credit line, this is a great week for Aries risings to do that. And a lot of you might actually find yourself already doing something to expand your finances through other methods. So you might find yourself trying to expand your finances using someone else's credit or someone else's money, basically, around the last week of September. So that's everything I have for Aries. Let's move on to Taurus. We're moving on to Taurus. All right, here we are, Taurus, and let's go back to the beginning. All right, so now we're on Taurus. Let me write down the timestamp for Taurus. Okay, Taurus. All right. Now, so for Taurus, let's see what you have in store. So for you, Taurus, this Mars-Neptune opposition is happening between your 5th and your 11th houses. So a lot of you Taurus rising people will not have very much energy for romantic encounters this week, the week of August 29th, because the 5th house does deal with, it can deal with romance. It can deal with romance, creativity, children. So a lot of Taurus rising will not be putting much energy into romance around September 2nd. Okay. You might think about it, but then when it comes to taking action, you might not be very enthused about it. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now, on the 4th, with the Mercury Saturn trine, it is a great day for you to concentrate on what you need to do to move ahead in your business and your career. Because Saturn is in Aquarius and that's in your 10th house. The 10th house deals with career or your public image. So on the 4th, it is a great day for getting things done also related to your health as well, because the 6th house is um, it can be related to your daily routine and also your health. So the 4th is going to be an excellent time for Taurus to get checkups, medical procedures, things like that, depending on what else is going on with the moon. Now, if you notice, I really don't focus so much on the moon in these forecasts. And that's only because the moon moves every 2.5 days. And this would be a very, very, very long video if I included the moon in on this. So always check and see, where the moon is located when you are having these medical procedures, and try to schedule it around that and based on everything else that's going on in your chart. So that's the week of August 29th. Let's move on to the week of September 5th, and this is for Taurus rising. So the week of September 5th, you're going to see changes occurring in, it could be your health, because the 6th house is going to be very active for you this week. And the 6th house, again, can deal with your health. It can also deal with your daily routine. So you're going to feel changes coming about based on your daily routine. And the 9th house is also affected. So it could be a case where you're putting together an overseas trip. It could be a case where you have some legal matters that you're taking care of. Whatever it is, the Mars-Pluto trine is ensuring some positive changes are on the horizon. And these changes are going to be related to your 5th house and your 9th house. And we know the 9th house can deal with legal matters. So those of you Taurus rising out there who are dealing with some legal matters, just know that you have some positive changes in store for you around the 5th. Okay. And then let's move on to the 12th, September 12th. And also, if anyone is interested in taking an astrology class, I do offer a self-paced astrology class. Now, if you watch these videos every month, you will learn based on how I do these forecasts. You will learn a lot of astrology. But if you want to get a better grasp of the things that I'm talking about, you can take my astrology class. It's only $30, and I do have the link in the description. All right, so Taurus rising for the week of September 12th. There's going to be something that happens around the 14th that humbles you. And it might make you look at romance in a different light. Because remember, at the start of this month, Taurus risings are really not putting any energy into romance. So there might be something that humbles you around the 14th that helps you to look at romance in a different light. Okay? Maybe you're a person who, if you're single, you might feel like you were never interested in going on a dating site. Something might humble you and make you realize, hey, you know what? It might not be so bad if I try it out. It could be something like that, that happens. You could meet someone, or you could be talking to someone and they might say something that really humbles you and makes you rethink any negative image you've had about romance. So something is going to humble you, Taurus rising people, in relation to romance, okay, around the week of the 14th. So be on the lookout for that. And there's also going to be Synchronicities are going to be very strong for everyone around the 16th, but for Taurus rising, it's happening in your 5th and your 9th houses. So you might find that you attract someone from overseas. Like you might, those of you who are single, maybe even those of you who are attached, you might find that you attract someone from another culture. You might find that within that week, you might attract two different people from two different cultures. Okay, because the 9th house does dealing with people from other cultures. So be on the lookout for a lot of synchronicities in relation to something that's going to humble you around the week of the 12th. So let's move on to the week of the 19th. And this is for Taurus rising. So Taurus rising this week, again, it just looks like for you this month, your career is going to really be taking off. And also, whatever is happening in your career or your public image, it is going to change the way you do your day-to-day activities. Okay. Because this week you have the Mercury Jupiter trine for you is happening in your 6th and your 10th houses. The 6th house can deal with daily routine. The 10th house can deal with career. So you're going to be expanding. So a lot of you might be going for positions, promotions, basically. You might be going for promotions at work. You might be expanding your clientele also. For those of you, sorry about that. I just need to put my phone on mute. For those of you who are in sales, you might find that you're getting a higher dollar clientele around that time. So that's really exciting. Now let's move on to the week of September 26th. So the week of September 26th, you will really have partnerships on your mind, Taurus rising, because remember, you start the month off not putting any energy towards partnerships and things like that. And it looks like you end the month wanting a deeper connection because the Venus Pluto trine is an energy where you're going to want a deep emotional connection. And for Taurus rising, it's happening in your 7th and your 9th houses. The 7th house is the house of partnership, and it is ruled by Venus. So you have the ruler of the 7th house in the 7th house. So your needs, and also Venus is your ruler, Taurus. Venus is the ruler of Taurus, and it's also the ruler of Libra. So around the last week of September, you're going to find that you want a deeper emotional connection. Okay. Also, if you deal with the public around the 29th, you are going to really shine. Those of you Taurus rising who are in the public sector. Okay. Because with that Venus Neptune trine, that is great for dealing with the public. So those of you Taurus rising out there who are maybe in sales or who, maybe you're a public speaker, you're going to find that around the 29th, you really are going to shine. Okay, so it's great for you to be out and about networking, pitching sales and things like that. All right, so that's everything I have for Taurus rising for the month of September. Let's move on to Gemini. So Gemini, let's go back to August 29th. All right, so let's look at Gemini rising for the week of August 29th. So Gemini rising, around the week of August 29th, on the 2nd, September 2nd, we have the Mars-Neptune opposition. So this is happening for you in the area of your life that deals with home and family, also career. So you might feel like you are in limbo around this time. You might feel like I need a break from my whatever situation I'm dealing with at home, And I need a break from my career. A lot of you Gemini risings are going to feel like that around the 2nd. Okay. So just watch out for that, because you will just feel like you don't have any energy. It's like you're at work and you feel like, oh, I can't wait to get off. And then when you get home, you'll be like, I really need to get out and do something. Okay. So just take it easy around the 2nd, because you will definitely be feeling that opposition. Okay. I mean, remember, you are an air sign, and this opposition is happening in an earth sign and a water sign. Okay. So a lot of times these oppositions that are in earth signs and water signs, air signs and fire signs really could struggle with that energy. Okay, because Mars is going to be in Virgo. Virgo is an earth sign. Neptune is in Pisces, and that's a water sign. So just know that around the 2nd, you will feel like you need a break from your home life and you need a break from your career. Okay, that is for Gemini rising. Now let's move on to the next week, the week of September 5th. So for you, you have this Venus-Pluto square. Now, Venus at this point in the month is going to be in Libra. So you're going to see changes happening in relation to your romantic connections, and maybe if you share any finances with others, you're going to see some changes happening around the 5th. Now, on the 6th, with the Mars-Pluto trine, you're going to see positive changes happening in relation to your home and family and any transformation that you might be going through. So it could be a case where, you and your partner are sharing finances and it's doing something to better the family. It could be something like that you're dealing with around the 6th. But when Mars is in a trine to Pluto, it represents positive changes. So those positive changes for Gemini rising are going to be happening in relation to your home and family, your transformation, and possibly even finances coming from someone else. So if you are in a position where you have been trying to get extra money from someone else, it could finally come through around the 6th. That is for Gemini rising. Now, let's move on to the week of September 12th. So, the week of September 12th, home and family is going to be big on your mind this week. There's going to be something that humbles you in relation to your home and family. I'm looking at that Sun-Neptune opposition. So, for you, this opposition is happening in relation to your home and family and also your career. So there could be something that happens that humbles you. And if you remember the beginning of September, you were feeling like you didn't have any energy. Okay, or you will be feeling like it depending on when you're watching this video. So on the 14th or around the 14th, there's going to be something that humbles you. Because remember, 2 weeks prior to this time, you might be feeling like you don't have energy for your home, you don't have energy for your career, but there's going to be something that humbles you around the 14th, and it makes you look at your situation in a different light, and it just actually humbles you. Whereas earlier, 2 weeks before this point, you were feeling like you don't feel like being bothered. Something could humble you, and it could be something like a coworker loses a partner, a coworker loses a child, or a coworker could be dealing with something, or you meet someone who's dealing with something, and it makes you look at your life and it just humbles you. And it's something related to your home and family, or it could be something also related to your career or how the two intertwine. So just look out for that on around the 14th. Now, moving on to the 19th, this is for Gemini rising. And again, if anyone is interested in learning astrology, sign up for my astrology class. Because if you are learning from watching me do these forecasts, you will learn so much more when you take my astrology class. Okay, so on around the week of the 19th, we're looking at that Mercury-Jupiter trine. Remember, it's a great energy for expanding. And for you, this is happening in your 5th and 9th houses. Jupiter is in the 9th house. Mercury is in the 5th house. So this is a great time for you to make plans, maybe to be involved in a creative project or to plan something romantic. This is a perfect time for you, especially those of you who are in relationships. This is a perfect time for you to plan a nice getaway. Okay. Mercury is going to help you think about a place, a trip that will be great for your relationship. Jupiter is going to help you um, going ahead and expand and book it. Okay. So remember, this is a great time for planning. This is a great energy for planning, not really implementing just yet. So this is a great time. This week of September 19th, this is a great time for Gemini risings to think about um, booking maybe an overseas trip, just some type of trip where it just expands your awareness of other cultures. Okay, let's move on to the week of September 26th. So, the week of September 26th, we have that Venus Neptune trine. That is a great time for you to plan um, something related to what you do on a daily basis, related to your career. So if you have been planning on making moves, this is a great time to make those moves around the 29th. Let's just say the last week in September. Okay. And with that Venus Jupiter square, it is a great time for you to do what you enjoy. And by it being a square, you won't find yourself overindulging. Okay. Because for you, this is happening in your 6th and your 9th houses. This is for Gemini rising. It's happening between your 6th and your 9th houses. So it could be something related to your health. It could be something, it could be a legal matter. Okay. You could be, a lot of you will be thinking about having surgery because under this aspect, I know the 9th house can deal with legal matters, but for you, you might be thinking about having a very serious surgery, and it is a good time for you to look at all of your options around the 30th. That is for Gemini rising. Now, let's move on to Cancer rising, and let's see what's in store for Cancer rising for the month of September. Oh, I didn't put the timestamp for Gemini. Just great. Okay, timestamp for Cancer. All right, Cancer rising. So, Cancers are normally very cordial. Always willing to speak with others and help someone. But around the second, with that Mars Neptune opposition, a lot of Cancer risings are not going to have very much energy to put towards communicating with others. So watch out for that around the second, Cancer rising. Because for you, this opposition is happening in your 3rd and your 9th houses. Some of you, this could be related to education as well. Whether you're a teacher or whether you're a student, you will feel like you just don't have the energy to put towards studying or communicating around the second. Okay. Now, and remember, this is for Cancer rising. And again, if you find that it's easy for you to follow along, or you want to be able to follow along with more ease, listening to these forecasts, take my astrology class. I have the link listed in the description. It's only $30. But if you watch these videos every month, you will learn astrology. But sometimes if you're very new to astrology, it could be a little bit difficult for you to follow along as I'm doing these forecasts. So I do have an astrology class that you can take, and it is self-paced. All right, so the week of September 5th, you are going to see changes happening in your home and family. For those of you who are married, you could find out that, hey, you're adding to the family. You could find out maybe that, you're pregnant around this time, because this Venus Pluto, it does talk about changes. And for you, it's happening in your 4th and your 7th houses. The 7th house is the house of partnership. The 4th house is the house of home and family. So you will see changes occurring in your relationships. This is for Cancer rising. Now, it will be positive changes because the Mars-Pluto trine on the 6th is all about positive changes. And for you, it's happening in your 3rd and your 7th house. So your partner might come home and tell you that, hey, we're moving to Hawaii. It could be something like that, because the 3rd house can deal with communication. Or it could be a case where, your partner feels like, hey, we need to buy a car, because the 3rd house can deal with transportation as well. So it's going to be something that happens for a lot of you dealing with communication, transportation, and possibly even partnerships. There's going to be a trine. So, or if you're single, you could find that you're out car shopping and you meet someone. Or you might strike up a conversation with someone who is to be your future partner, and the conversation could be about cars. Okay, remember, the 3rd house can deal with communication, transportation. It can deal with short distance travel. You might find yourself visiting a town maybe an hour away, and you could meet someone who could turn into your partner. So something like that is going to be happening for a lot of Cancer risings the week of September 5th. So don't be afraid to get out there and network, try new things, because you do have the Sun and Uranus on your side with that trine going on the 6th. That is a perfect time for new activities. So don't be afraid to try new activities. Don't be afraid to show the real you. Don't be afraid to communicate who you really are, because that Sun Uranus trine is happening between your 3rd and 11th houses. The 11th house can deal with friendships. It can also deal with networking as well. So don't be afraid to get out there and network and try new things around that time. So let's move on to the week of September 12th, and this is for Cancer rising. So the week of September 12th, everyone is going to have something that humbles them. And for you, Cancer risings, it could be the way you communicate, the way you might feel like you talk to someone or you experience something that humbles you and makes you rethink the way you communicate with people. Okay. And there's also going to be synchronicities that happen, because everybody's going to have that attractor factor going on with that Sun Pluto trine. And for you, the attractor factor is going to be in your 3rd and 7th houses. Remember, the 3rd house can deal with communication, transportation. The 7th house can deal with partnerships. So you could very well, if you are single, you could very well find yourself attracting that partner to you around the week of September 12th. Let's move on to the week of September 19th. So this week is going to be great for expanding something within your home and your family life. It could be a case where you get a loan to redo the driveway, or just something related to your home and family. The Mercury-Jupiter trine is going to be helping you to expand, or maybe even think about expanding something related to your home and your family situation. And the fact that Jupiter is in your 8th house at this point in the month, you could very well be expanding your credit line. You could be expanding through getting a loan. Someone might just give you money to do something to beautify your home. Something like that you might be experiencing around that time. Okay, so let's move on to the last week of September for Cancer rising. So the last week of September, a lot of Cancer risings might find themselves in romantic positions. Okay. Either in, some of you will be having more romantic offers. Some of you will find yourself feeling very, very creative around this time of the month. And others of you are going to feel like you're having a deep emotional connection with your romantic partners or your maybe your husband or wife. Okay? Because for you, the fifth house is lit up this week. The fifth house can deal with romance, creativity, kids. So yes, a lot of you will be finding out, hey, I'm going to be conceiving around that time. So that was for Cancer rising. Let's move on to Leo rising and see what's in store for Leo rising. Writing the timestamp down. Leo rising. All right, so Leo risings. The week of August 29th through September 4th, there is going to be something that needs to be dealt with related to finances. And you will feel like you do not have the energy to deal with it. This is the first week of September. It looks like this opposition, this Mars-Neptune opposition, is happening in your second and your eighth houses. The second house can deal with money you bring in personally, and the eighth house can deal with money from other people or money you share with others. So around the second, a lot of Leo risings are going to feel like there's something you have to deal with related to your income or related to money you owe someone, and you are going to feel like you just don't have the energy to deal with it. Okay, that is the first week of September. Now let's move on to the second week, September 5th, the week of September 5th. So the week of September 5th, there's going to be some changes going on in relation to how you communicate on a daily basis. This is for Leo risings because the third house and the sixth house are affected by this Venus-Pluto square that you have going on. So you're going to see some changes happening with what you're doing on a daily basis. Now, it looks like it's going to be positive changes because of the Mars-Pluto trine on the 6th. So for you, Mars in Virgo is going to be in your second house. Pluto is in Capricorn in your sixth house. So this trine could be bringing a positive change to the income that you bring in. This is for Leo risings. Around the 6th, you might find that maybe there's an additional source of income that is affecting what you do on a daily basis. So you might either be taking up another job, you might be doing something on the side to bring in more money. That is for Leo risings. Now, if you're not doing those things, the planets will be assisting you to do those things. So even if you haven't thought about getting another job or doing something on the side, this is a great time for you to think about doing that because the planetary energies are making it easy for you to bring that manifestation into your life around that time. And then with the Sun Uranus trine, this is saying, hey, anything new that you want to do right now, the planets are assisting you with it. This is for Leo risings. Because for you, this Sun Uranus trine is happening between your second and 10th houses. So Leo risings, this is a great time for you to take on a different job, start another business, okay? Do something new and something that shows who you really are. Let's move on to the next week, the week of September 12th. Excuse me. So the week of September 12th, there could be something that humbles you related to the income that you're bringing in. Because remember, when the month starts off, you're not going to have very much energy to put towards additional income or taking care of bills, but something is going to humble you around the 14th, and you're going to look at your income situation differently. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Something is going to happen with this Sun Neptune opposition on the 14th. And remember, it could happen around the 14th. It might not be exactly on the 14th, because if you are sensitive to energies, you could be feeling this before the 14th, even after the 14th. But something is going to happen that humbles you related to your income. That is for Leo rising. Let's look at the next week, the week of September 19th. So the week of September 19th, we have, it's going to be great for you to implement something, maybe a new way to communicate. If you're in a relationship, you might find yourself trying new ways to get through to your partner. If you're single, you'll find that you're thinking about new ways to meet someone. Okay, that is the energy of this Mercury Jupiter trine for Leo risings around that time. So let's move on to the last week of September. Last week of September, we have this for you. Home and family is going to be lit up the last week of September, Leo risings. Okay, it's going to be a time where you want a deep connection with your family the last week of September. And it's also a good time to do what you enjoy with your family the last week of September. So let's move on to Virgo rising. Virgo rising. Okay. So let's start Virgo rising. So Virgo rising, this Mars Neptune opposition around the 2nd is going to have you feeling like you don't have any energy to put towards your relationships or yourself. You're going to feel like maybe you need a haircut, and you will feel like, you know what? Let me wait until next week to get it, because I really just don't feel like going out to do that right now. So there's going to be something about your self-image that you might feel like you just don't have the energy to put towards it. Or it could be something related to your partnership, and you might feel like you don't have the energy to do it. Okay? That's just the week of August 29th, the beginning of September. Okay? Now, for you this week, you will be more focused on bringing money in and just doing your day-to-day activities. Anything extra, you really won't be putting any energy towards it. Like I said, if it's maybe you need to buy some new clothes, or you need to go and buy a pair of shoes, you will be more focused on bringing money in and getting through your day-to-day activities. Anything extra, it's like you really won't have the energy for it the beginning of September. All right, so let's move on and see what's in store for the next week. So the next week, September 5th, the week of September 5th, your main focus is finances and creativity. With this Venus-Pluto square, you're going to be seeing changes related to your income you're bringing in and your creativity. So it could be a case where you have a creative project you're working on, and you realize that you're having to put more money towards it. Okay, but it's going to be a positive experience, because with that Mars Pluto trine, that's all about positive experiences. So whatever creative project you're working on, it's going to bring a positive energy to you and make you feel good about whatever you're working on. And this could also be related to romance. Okay, you might feel like you're having to put out more money to court someone, but you will realize that it's all worth it. With that Mars Pluto trine, you will realize that whatever this Venus Pluto square is changing for you, you will realize that it is all working out in your favor. And for you, it's related to either romance, creativity, or children. So those three things are going to be sort of like the focus. You will see changes happening in those areas of your life. You will see positive changes, okay, happening around that area of your life. Now, let's move on to the week of September 12th, and this is for Virgo rising. Also, I do teach an astrology class. I have the information in the description if you want to take a self-paced astrology class. Now, this week, the week of September 12th, everyone is going to have a humbling experience. So there's going to be something that humbles you related to your self-image and your partnerships. Whether you're in a relationship or not, there's going to be something that humbles you. Let's say, for example, you might be single. Something is going to humble you, and you're going to feel like, I am glad that I'm at the point I am in my life. Okay. You might feel like you might get word that, hey, somebody who's you find out has been married 15 or so years, you might find something devastating happens to them. And you might feel like, hey, it's not so bad being single. You know, if I had to deal with that, I'd rather be single. Something like that could be happening around the 14th that humbles you. And it could go the other way around. You might be married for like 15 or so years, 30 years, and you might feel like, you know what? This really hasn't been a bad experience. Like, I'm so glad that I've had this partner all my life. So whatever situation you're in, you're going to feel like something humbles you and makes you appreciate where you are in your relationship, whether you have one or not. Okay. So that's the week of the 12th. Let's look at the week of September 19th. So the week of September 19th, and again, this is for Virgo rising. So the week of September 19th, finances are going to be big on your mind. It is a good day. It is a good time for you this week to not procrastinate. If you've been thinking about doing something to bring extra money in, because finances are highlighted for you this week. If you've been thinking about doing something to bring extra money in, this is a great week for you to get another job, get another source of income going this week, because the planets are lining up to make it easy for you to do that. Okay. Now let's look at the last week of September. So the last week of September for you is going to be all about communication. Okay. You are going to want to, we all are going to want a deep emotional connection around this time. And for you, it's a great time for you to connect with someone on a creative level. You might be working on a project and it might take on sort of like a deeper meaning for you around the end of September. So that's what I have for Virgo rising. Let's move on to Libra rising and see what's in store for Libra rising for September. So let me write the timestamp. All right. Libra rising, where are you? Okay, here we go. So Libra rising, let's see what's in store for you. So Libra risings. So with the Mars-Neptune opposition around September 2nd, you will feel like there's something happening related to, something that you do alone. And there might be something that you normally do by yourself, and you might find that you don't have the energy to do it this week. Whether it's meditating, whether it's exercising, because the sixth house is also involved, and the sixth house can deal with health. So around this time, around September 2nd, you might find like you don't have the energy to do your meditations, or you don't have the energy to do your workout. Something like that could be coming up for a lot of Libra risings, starting out September. Let's look at the next week, September 5th. So this week, you're going to see that changes are occurring between your self-image and your home and your family life. Okay. So it should be like for everyone, it should be positive changes. It's just that for you, there could be something that changes. There could be something that sparks a change in the way you see yourself, in the way you see your family around September 5th. And it could be positive changes because of the Mars Pluto trine. Okay. It could be positive changes that you feel need to be done privately. So you could have some stuff going on that you're really not really talking to others about because you feel like it's very personal, more than likely related to your family this week. Okay. Now, let's go on to the next week, the week of September 12th. So this week you have that Sun Neptune opposition, and there's going to be something that humbles you. Okay. Like I said, you start the month off not really having the energy to devote to something that you normally do. This is for Libra rising, whether it's meditation, exercising, but there could be something that humbles you in relation to your health or in relation to something that you do alone. There could be something that humbles you and makes you feel very appreciative for those moments that you do have alone. That is for Libra rising. And remember, I do teach an astrology class, so if you would like to follow along, or if you would like just to get a better understanding of astrology, I do teach a self-paced astrology class, and it is available. I have the link listed in the description box, so check it out. It's only $30. Now, the week of the 19th, there's going to be something that you feel like you are ready to change about yourself, whether it's your self-image, whether it's your physical appearance. This is a great week for you to think about expanding something about your self-image or changing something about yourself. Now, it's really not a great week to do any detailed, minute type work, but this is a great week for you to think about expanding your self-image. This is for Libra rising. Okay. This is also a week where you might find that some type of financial challenge comes up as well because of that Venus-Uranus opposition. For you, it's happening in your second and your eighth houses. Those are your money houses. And they're in an opposition. So you might find that some financial challenge might come up this week. All right. So let's look at the last week of September. So the last week of September, finances are highlighted for you, Libra rising. Okay. So this is a great week for you to be organized and disciplined related to your income. And it's also a time where you will realize that it's good for you to do what you want to do related to your finances, but it's also because of that Venus-Jupiter square, it's also going to be bringing to light the areas where you need to make changes related to your finances. Okay, so that's everything I have for Libra rising. Let's move on to Scorpio rising. I'm just writing down the timestamp. So we're looking at Scorpio rising. Alrighty. All right, Scorpio rising. So for you, you will feel like you don't have any energy to put towards hanging with friends, networking, or romance the beginning of September. And that's because of the Mars-Neptune opposition happening in your 11th and 5th houses. Okay. So just keep that in mind. If your friends are calling you to do something and you feel like, you know what, not tonight. Let's try next week. This week is going to be more. You're going to be more feeling like you just want to chill more. You won't feel like going out, rubbing elbows with everyone, networking, hanging with your friends, going on dates or anything like that. You're just going to want to chill this week, Scorpio rising. Let's move on to the next week and see what you have in store. So for the week of September 5th, you're going to see changes occurring, especially related to the way you communicate. So maybe the week of you just chilling is just going to spark something inside of you, and you're going to feel like you need to make changes in the way you communicate. Okay. And it's going to be positive changes because of the Mars Pluto trine on the 6th that represents positive changes. And it's in the areas of your life dealing with networking and communicating. So whatever changes you're thinking about making related to how you communicate, it looks like it's going to be positive changes. And also with the Sun Uranus trine, any type of new activity you want to try related to networking or meeting a partner, the planets are blessing you with trying something new related to friendships, networking, and also partnerships. All right, moving on to September 12th. There's going to be something that humbles you in relation to your friendships or networking and romance or creativity. So there's going to be something that humbles you, and you're going to feel like, you know what? You're going to think to yourself, this is why that happened, or this is why this is happening. There's going to be something that humbles you, and it's in the area of your life related to networking, friendships, and it's in an opposition to romance, creativity, and children. So just know that around this time, you're going to have a humbling experience related to friendships, networking, romance, kids, or creativity. All of those are going to be buzzwords for you for this week. And you're also going to have that attractor factor. So this is a great week for you to network. Okay, with the Sun Pluto trine there, this is a great time for you to network because you are going to be like a magnetic force. Okay, because for you, the Sun Pluto trine is in your 11th and your 3rd houses. So you're going to be communicating, like you're going to have a liquid magical tongue, and you're going to be attracting a lot of people to you around that time. A lot of people and a lot of things you're going to be attracting around this time of the month. So that's awesome. Now let's look at the week of September 19th. The week of September 19th, it is great for thinking about what you want to change around your house. Okay, so not much going on there, but some of you who are in partnerships, you might have unexpected difficulties this week with that Venus-Uranus opposition because it's happening in your 1st and 7th houses. The 1st house is the house of self. The 7th house is the house that deals with partnerships. So that opposition on the 23rd could very well bring Scorpio risings a bit of unexpected difficulties in relationships or just processing your inner feelings around that time. Now let's look at the last week of September for Scorpio rising. And again, your self-image is going to be highlighted this week. Okay? This is a great week for you to plan changes you want to make related to your self-image or related to your physical appearance as well. Okay, so that's everything I have for Scorpio rising. Let's move on to Sagittarius rising. Let me write the timestamp. Sagittarius rising. Okay. All right. Sagittarius rising. So let's change this to Sagittarius to see where the houses are. So basically, this chart on the screen, this is letting you know if you put Sagittarius in the first house, this is where all of the other zodiac signs are lining up on the chart. So if you see on this chart, it says Sagittarius and you see a 1 by it, then you see Capricorn and you see a 2 by it, that's letting you know where the zodiac signs are placed in the chart if you are Sagittarius rising. Okay, and remember, I do offer an astrology class where you can learn all of this. It is a self-paced astrology class. It's only $30 and you can take your time with the class. Okay, because it's actually pre-recorded, so you can re-watch the videos, rewind, redo the exercises as much as you want to. All right, Sagittarius rising. So for the week of August 29th, it looks like you're not going to have very much energy to devote towards your career and also your home. Or it could be a case where you are totally exhausted. It could be a case where you have so much going on with your career and so much happening at home that it leaves you feeling exhausted. Okay? But one good thing is that by the 12th, there will be something that humbles you. So whatever is happening at the beginning of the month that leaves you feeling like you don't have any energy, you're going to have a humbling experience by the 12th that makes you feel like wow, I have a lot to be appreciative of. Okay, let's move on to the week of September 5th. So the week of September 5th, you're going to see changes happening within your friendships. And it's going to be positive changes. And this is also a great week for you to invest in maybe booking a vacation or something along those lines. Now, with the Sun Uranus trine, this is going to be a time where if you want to try something new related to your career, the planets are going to be on your side, blessing you with trying something new in your career. Okay, let's move on to the week of September 12th. The week of September 12th, as I mentioned, you're going to have something that humbles you. You're going to feel like whatever you were dealing with 2 weeks prior, which left you with no energy, you're going to feel like something has happened that humbles you and makes you appreciate the fact that you didn't have energy back then. Excuse me. Now, let's move on to the week of September 19th. So this week is going to be, excuse me, this week you're going to be focused on networking, and there's going to be something that happens, something you do on a daily basis. There might be a bit of a challenge that comes up that you have to deal with because of that Venus-Uranus opposition. For you, this opposition is happening between your 12th and your 6th houses. So there could be something that you have to deal with behind the scenes around the 19th. And let's look at the last week of September. This is for Sagittarius rising. So the last week of September, it looks like you're going to be doing a lot of things behind the scenes related to your home and also related to how you communicate. A lot of you Sagittarius rising are going to be doing a lot of connecting to your higher consciousness the last week of September. Okay. So this is a great time for you to do meditations, whether it's walking meditations, whether it's doing grounding. For Sagittarius rising, the last week of September is a great time for you to do anything related to spirituality, whether it's meditating, whether it's chanting, whether it's playing singing bowls, and try to do it, you know, behind the scenes alone, because your 12th house is highly activated on the last week of September. Now, let's move on to Capricorn rising and see what is in store for Capricorn rising for the month of September. Capricorn rising. So Capricorn rising. So you start out September not having very much energy to devote towards legal matters or communicating very much. Okay. It could be legal matters that you don't have energy to put towards, or it could be dealing with other cultures, or it could be dealing with higher education. Okay, because the 9th house and the 3rd house is activated. So you might feel like you don't have energy to put towards dealing with any legal matters. So if you have any legal matters to deal with, try to put them all, or try to take care of them before August 29th or after September 4th, because the Mars-Neptune opposition is making you feel like you don't have energy to put towards legal matters, higher education, other cultures, traveling overseas, higher knowledge, philosophy, religion, things like that. It's like you really won't have the energy to devote towards those things starting off September. So let's move on to September 5th, the week of September 5th. So the week of September 5th, you're going to feel changes occurring in your career and your self-image. And it's all going to be positive changes, okay? You might find yourself, maybe at one point you were scared to go for a higher position. You're going to feel a change happening within you, and you're going to feel great about expanding your career or expanding your clientele or doing something grand with your public image around the week of the 5th. Okay. And remember, the Sun Uranus trine is going to be blessing you with making it easy for you to show the real you and try new activities. Okay. So that's going to be a great week for you. This is for Capricorn rising. Now, moving on to the week of September 12th, there's going to be something that happens that humbles you in relation to the things that you didn't have energy for 2 weeks prior. So just remember that. Okay. There's also going to be a lot of synchronicities happening in relation to your self-image, in relation to legal matters, things of that nature. So this week is going to be a humbling time for everyone, but we're going to have a humbling experience in different areas based on our zodiac signs and everything else that's going on in our charts. Now, the week of September 19th, it's all about your career this week, okay? It's all about expanding your career. It's all about doing things related to your career or your public image that you have been procrastinating with. So this is a great time for you to let go of any procrastination that you have had. Okay. Now, it looks like you might have some unexpected difficulty related to some unresolved issues maybe you had with a friend or a romantic interest. You might have to deal with that this week. Okay. Now, let's look at the last week of September for Capricorn rising. So, this week, friendships and networking are highlighted for Capricorn risings. Okay. So this is a great week for you to be organized, to be disciplined, to get out there, do the networking you need to do, to get together with your friends. Excuse me. And remember, you will want a deep connection. Even though you might be out there networking, you are going to want a deep connection, a deep emotional connection. You're not just going to want to network just to add another friend to your list. You are going to want to network to get to know someone on a deeper level this week, Capricorn rising. So that's everything I have for Capricorn rising. Let's look at Aquarius rising. And remember, I do teach astrology classes, so you can always check out the link in the description. The astrology class is only $30, and it is a self-paced class. The class is pre-recorded, so you can take your time. Now, Aquarius rising. It looks like you're not going to have any energy to devote towards finances. Anything financial that comes up, you are not going to want to deal with it starting out in September. So if you have any financial things to deal with, it's best to do it before August 29th or after September 4th, because the Mars-Neptune opposition is going to have you feeling like you don't want to deal with that. Okay, now let's look at the following week, September 5th. So this week, you're going to see changes occurring. It could be changes related to your legal matters, some things that you're dealing with behind the scenes related to legal matters, or even maybe higher education. But it's going to be positive changes. So whatever house 9 situations you have going on, there's going to be positive changes. So if you're looking to get financing or some type of financial backings, it looks like it could definitely come through this week for you. Okay. Now let's move on and look at the week of September 12th. So the week of September 12th, there's going to be something that humbles you related to finances. It could be income, your personal income, or it could be finances that you share with someone else. But there's going to be something that happens that humbles you in relation to your finances. Okay. And I'm saying finances because it's the eighth house and the second house that's involved. But it could actually be, it's definitely Venus related. And remember, Venus can deal with finances. Venus can deal with love. So it could be the transformation you're trying to see in relation to the comforts you have in your life. But there's definitely going to be something that happens that humbles you, okay, this week. And you're also going to find that you are attracting the finances that you need. You're going to feel like you are attracting them. And a lot of you are going to be doing some, maybe, I don't know, rituals or meditations or chants or something behind the scenes related to attracting something to you. So this is a great week if you are into manifesting. This is a great week to do some major manifesting work related to your finances. Okay. Let's move on to the week of September 19th. The week of September 19th, let's see, what is your focus? Okay, so for you, it looks like your focus is your self-image, and as it relates to anything legal or anything related to higher education. Okay, it looks like you're going to be thinking about expanding, and this is also a great week for you to take care of any legal matters you have. That Mars-Saturn trine is going to be assisting you in taking care of things that you've been putting off. And for you, the Mars-Saturn trine is happening in your 9th and 1st houses. So if there's any legal matters you've been putting off, or if there's any higher educational matters you've been putting off, or traveling overseas, if you've been putting that off, this is a great week for you to hunker down and take care of that. And let's look at the last week of September. So this week, excuse me, this is for Aquarius rising. This last week of September, you are going to be focused on your career. If you don't work for someone, then you are going to be focused on your public image. Okay, so 10th house does deal with career, but it can also deal with your public image. So this week, Aquarius rising people are going to be very focused on career and or public image. Okay. You are going to want to, in your career, in your public image, you are going to want to connect with others on a deep emotional level as it relates to your career and your public image. And also, you are going to want, whatever you do behind the scenes, you're going to want that to show through in your career as well. So that was for Aquarius rising. Now let's move on to Pisces rising. Pisces rising. All right, I'm writing the time stamp down. So Pisces rising, let's see what's in store for you in September. And remember, I do teach astrology classes, so you can always visit the link in the description, or you can also visit my website, metaphysicalmoonlighters.com, and check out what I have going on there as far as astrology classes. The astrology class is $30. I need to let you know up front. All right, Pisces rising. So it looks like you start the month off with, you might have thoughts that are taking over in relation to partnerships in your self-image. So whether you're single or committed, there could be some thoughts that are just taking over. If you're single, you might be thinking, oh, I really need to get a partner, or why don't I have a partner? It's just going to be on your mind. Partnerships are going to take over your thoughts. A lot of you Pisces rising. If it's not partnerships, then it's going to be your self-image. A lot of you who are in partnerships are going to strongly feel like you need to do something to self-identify. Like some of you are going to feel like you've been in a relationship so long that people, when they think of you or say your name, they automatically say your partner's name too. And you're going to feel like you want to self-identify. Okay. Now, let's move on to the week of September 5th. The week of September 5th, there's going to be changes happening. There's going to be a lot of you Pisces risings are going to have transformational things happening within your friendships. Within your friendships, it could also deal with networking as well. You could find yourself, maybe you're the type of person who likes to network. You could find yourself really kind of like shying away, backing away from that. Or if you are more reserved, you might find yourself being more enthusiastic about networking and hanging out with your friends. So there's definitely going to be some positive changes happening in relation to networking and your friendships around this time. Also, with the Sun Uranus trine, there's going to be new activities that you are trying in relation to how you communicate in a partnership, or how you communicate in order to meet a partner. Okay, so let's move on and see what to expect the week of September 12th. So the week of September 12th, you're going to have something that happens that humbles the way you think about partnerships in relation to your self-image. Because of the Sun-Neptune opposition, it's happening in your 7th and your 1st houses. The 7th house deals with partnerships. The 1st house deals with yourself. So you're going to have a humbling experience in relation to how you feel about partnerships as they relate to how you self-identify. Okay. And you are going to find that you have something about you that's just attracting a lot of friends, and it's attracting people who want to be in a partnership with you, whether it's romantic or platonic. You're going to have sort of like this attractor factor. We're all going to have this energy going on for us, but for Pisces rising, it's happening in the area of your life that deals with partnerships And also it can deal with networking as well. So you are definitely going to be like a magnet. Well, we're all going to be a magnet, but we're going to be attracting different things to us based on where the planets are situated in our charts. All right, that's the week of September 12th. Let's move on to the week of September 19th. The week of September 19th, this is for Pisces rising. You're going to be thinking about expanding, or you're going to be thinking about expansive plans in relation to the money you share with others or the transformation you seek. Or it could be because the eighth house can deal with sexual matters as well. You might find yourself wanting to expand your experiences related to eighth house matters. Okay. Now, some of you will feel like you have unexpected difficulties that surface in relation to legal matters. So some of you might have a legal matter that surfaces, or you might have a situation where you might have a bit of a exchange of words with someone around the 23rd because of that Venus Uranus opposition going on and where it falls in your chart. So let's move on to the last week of September. So the last week of September, it looks like for you, higher education or legal matters or traveling overseas is going to be highlighted for you because the ninth house is lit up. Okay, so this is a great week for you to be organized and detailed and disciplined in relation to what you want to experience. Okay, because we're all going to be looking for a deep emotional connection. And for you, this is happening in the area dealing with your legal matters, traveling overseas, or dealing with other cultures. So, related to those matters, those ninth house matters, you are going to want a deep emotional connection. So, if it is legal matters you're dealing with, you are going to want um, to not only take care of it, but you are going to want a deep understanding of it. Okay, so that's everything I have for you for every sign, actually. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please share out the video, like the video, and check out my website as well, especially if you are interested in taking an astrology class. I also teach tarot as well. You can also get daily screenshot readings on my website as well. So everyone, enjoy your September, and I'll see you next time.